And hello, and welcome to another Dustn.tv interview. I'm currently doing a series on social media management tools, and today I have the awesome opportunity to cover a tool for you. I don't know if you're familiar with it or not. You should be. It is called Sprout Social. And here with Sprout Social, I have one of their wrong slide. I have one of their product specialists, Joshua Sigler. Josh is a very attractive and stunning individual, and I had the pleasure of meeting him just before our interview. So, Josh, how long have you been with Sprout? Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you think Sprout is the place that you need to be.
Yeah, so I've been at Sprout for about 3.5 years now. So when I started, there were only about 10 or 12 of us. We were in a conference room at the Groupon headquarters. And so when I took the job at Sprout, we weren't even sure what I was going to be doing. And so it's been really neat to see how it's grown and see what we've been able to do in the last 3.5 years. It's kind of crazy that I've almost been here as long as I was in college. I'm not sure which felt longer or shorter as I think about it.
Awesome. So you are a product specialist, and today I'm just introducing everybody to this tool called Sprout Social. Now, in my opinion, I've gone through a lot of management tools. I'm out there to find the best of the best, and thus far, Sprout Social, I can say with 100% honesty, is the best of the best. Now, a little bit about Sprout, for those who aren't familiar. Sprout Social is a management and engagement platform for social business. Now, what in the world does that actually mean? Well, let's get into it. First, Sprout focuses on engagement. This is something that's a little bit different than the other social network management tools rather out there. Josh, I want you to tell us a little bit about this. Why this is so important. Now, this allows users to not only monitor their social feeds, but also engage with their audience, and also route issues to internal systems. Tell us a little bit about that and why Sprout thinks that's so important.
Yeah, so really early on at Sprout, we always focused on having meaningful conversations with your audience. So we really focused on making sure that as you're working with your social channels, conversations are really the root of what's going on. And so we see social as at its basic level as an engagement platform or a way to communicate with customers that you hadn't been able to do in the past. And so we wanted to build tools that would allow teams to do that as quickly and as easily as possible. And what's really been exciting is as social grows and as conversations grow, teams are growing along with that. So internal teams at organizations that help those conversations or have those conversations. And so that's why our application does really well, is it's designed in a way to help those conversations go really quick and make sure you know how they're moving throughout the application.
Perfect. Yeah, so a lot of the management tools I've been going over, they allow you to monitor or to publish, but not many of them have the ability to actually respond from the tool, from the management piece. And I thought that was really a standout feature. But moving on to the next piece, publishing, again, like I said, most of the tools that I'm focusing on are the ability to publish, schedule, and post to your social networks from the application, making it a little bit more streamlined for those who manage multiple social networks, multiple properties. Tell us a little bit about the publishing. What networks? See, you have Twitter, Google+, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Are those all the networks that Sprout interacts with?
Yeah, so currently those are the ones that we publish to. And when we're looking at making sure that our application can interface with a social network, we want to be able to make the publishing experience as similar to as you're using the native application as possible. So you notice for Google+, we have all of the ability to select the circles to make sure that there are comments or not. We really, when we add something into the tool, we want to make sure it's as full as possible to give you the best experience.
Totally agree with that. I mean, I'm a UI designer, Nazi, whatever you want to call me. But that's one of the things I kind of look at. Is the interface, number one, is it beautiful? Is it fun to work with? And I can say that Sprout has done a great job at design. Their user interface is beautiful. It's just a lot of fun to use, and it does have that almost native feel, so you don't feel like you're doing something completely foreign if you're used to using the native application. It has a very intuitive feel to it, and I love that you guys did that. Any looking into maybe Pinterest integration or any other network integration in the near future?
Yeah, definitely. We look into all of the networks as they become available, and especially as the APIs become available as well. Instagram's one we look at a lot, and their publishing API just doesn't exist. They want you to use the mobile app for publishing. And so as soon as things become available, we look into them. The one that we're recently working on is the LinkedIn company pages and the new showcase pages that they're adding. So making sure that we can publish to those and make sure that the content goes out as you need.
Perfect. Now, I am, again, a huge proponent of Google Plus, and the fact that it allows me to push Plus through all my various pages. It's just a huge benefit for me, and I think that's great that you guys are doing that. Now, the last thing we're going to look at here is analytics. So you guys provide data, actual, here's what's happening from all this stuff that you're doing. And might I add, it's beautiful analytics. Again, going back to the design, the analytics reports that Sprout has are just gorgeous to look at. I mean, I'm staring at them right now in my Chromebook, and they're just beautiful. So tell me about these analytics and why Sprout thought that was such an important feature to include.
Yeah, so what we wanted to be able to do was allow organizations and allow our customers to understand what was happening with the social data that they saw. So a lot of our competitors and a lot of players in the space give you so many analytics that it's really difficult to digest and understand what's happening. And so we want reports that not just the people who use social every day can understand, but also that they could take to their manager or their boss or someone who's not really active in social every day and tell a story of what was happening. And so we found by Beautiful Design that was a great way to do it. And it also allows people to export it right away, take the reports, and work with them from there.
Great. Now I will poke a little bit of fun at you. Your Google Plus analytics, they're slightly limited, but I guess that's not your fault, is it? Google Plus hasn't exactly opened up their entire API just yet. Now I work for a company, Steady Demand, who has its own Google Plus Analytics suite and a full-featured set of suites, but it's not from the actual API that we're pulling a lot of that data. You were one of the very first, or one of at least the early partners with Google Plus's API. Is that correct?
Yeah, we started really early on making sure that we could have those features in the tool.
Cool. And so, tell the people watching, what it takes. I mean, I know when you guys implement something, it can't be a small task, right? I mean, I'm sure it's much more difficult than just flipping a switch or writing a couple lines of code. Your implementation is probably huge, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have over 14,000 customers, so when we turn on a new social network or a new feature even, we have to make sure that it can scale to the number of people that are going to be using the tool. The other thing, too, is that the number of API calls that we make to a new network can be taxing on them, and we're adding a lot of traffic into their server. So it's making sure that we have a strong partnership. We know what we're doing, and one of the other things that we focus on a ton at Sprout is making sure that the experience is as cohesive as possible. When we add something into the tool, we don't just want to tack it on. We want it to really fit and feel, like we've talked about, it goes into the interface, everyone can pick it up and use it really well. And so design is something we spend a ton of time on. And so when we're adding a new network, it starts from design to making sure it fits and that it fully feels Sprout-like, not just added onto the tool because we had to.
Got it. And I could appreciate that. I understand that wholeheartedly. For me, it's more about quality than speed or quantity. And so the fact that you guys have done such a great job so far as craftsmanship and building this tool, I think speaks for itself. And though I might poke a little fun at you guys for the lack of Google Plus data, I know you guys are working on it very hard, and trust me, I'm sitting there bugging all my Google contacts to tell them, you're going to open up that API. Come on, let us in.
Yeah, as soon as it's open and ready to go, we'll be working on it, and we'll have our team on there. We have actually a huge development and product team, so they will, as soon as they get the word go, they'll do it as quickly as possible.
Awesome, I believe it. So let's go over some of the features that I think are key that you don't necessarily, well, you may or may not mention on your homepage on sproutsocial.com. These are some of my key secret sauce things that I look for in a social media platform, and these are the things that stood out about Sprout Social. So you can connect your feeds firstly and foremost. If you have RSS feeds or you do a lot of content curation, you can integrate your feeds right into your Sprout Social dashboard and do all your content curation from there, from your Sprout Social. I think that's super convenient. How long has this been a part of Sprout Social?
Yeah, so this is actually a really cool story. This was a pet project of our CEO. He loves using RSS feeds to find content and find interesting things that are happening in the space and just what he's interested in. And so he tasked one of our developers to build the integration on his own. And so in his free time, he'd work on it and get it built. And what we did then is we opened it up to our entire customer base. And we've done it probably for, I would say, almost 2 years now, because it used to be built off of Google Reader. And then when Google Reader went away, we had to find a new partner. And so that's why we started using Feedly. It's an awesome way to find content. We find Pardon?
It's also my favorite RSS reader.
Awesome. That's good to hear. And so it's yeah, we find that our customers use it a ton to find content, to find interesting things that are happening in their space or with their competitors and things like that. There are a ton of really neat use cases for it that I don't think we thought about when we first built it. But it's a really great integration. It's also on your mobile app too. So if you do want to browse your RSS feed in the mobile app, that's actually what our CEO does. He loves it just for that reason. So it's a great way to know what's happening, read what's going on, and really get an idea.
Yeah, and that's another thing too I didn't mention yet, that you guys also have a beautiful mobile app that goes right along with the dashboard too. And,
yeah, we have iPhone apps, we have iPad apps, and then we have Android apps as well. And what's really great about the Android apps is they're customized for either a phone or the tablet. So everything that you can do in the application outside of reporting, you can do on the mobile apps, which is a really huge benefit for us, because a lot of people who are managing social are on the go a ton, and so we wanted them to have all of the tools that they needed when they were on the go.
Awesome. Now, the last couple things I'm going to go past quickly here. You can manage your following. Now, that's huge for me. You have tools within Sprout Social that allow me to look at suggested users to follow. You also allow me to clean up anyone who's silent or inactive users that I'm following. Now, this is strictly for Twitter. I could also find my non-follow backs, people who are not following me back. I could also do some smart search in there. Tell us a little bit about this smart search integration.
Yeah, so the suggestions in the Smart Search was really designed on making sure that your audience was built of people that you either wanted to engage with or that were really interesting to you. And we found that in the early days of social, people were just going out and following a lot of people to try to build their audience, and that was a great way to do it. And so we needed to be able to clean that up if we had new people who were taking over, if we had other people who were working with the accounts. So it really allows us to get an idea of what's going on and then clean it up based on those triggers that you talked about.
Perfect. So instead of just following mass amounts of people like most people do on Twitter, you can actually find targeted followers, and you can make targeted connections. And you can also clean up those who you may be following that are not active anymore. And that's, to me, super, super powerful. It's not about how many followers you have. For me, it's about how many active listening followers you have, how many targeted followers you have. Because if you're selling, man, I can't even think of a good example. But if you're selling crochet needles, that's your product, but you have a following that knows nothing and cares nothing for crocheting, then what in the world good does that do? You can have 1 million followers. If they're not interested in what you're providing or what service or product you have, what's the use? It's pointless.
Yeah, like we've talked about, Sprout's focused on engagement. So we want your audience to engage with you, and we have really great tools to help you build that engagement and have those conversations. And so that was exactly what we were looking for as well.
Fantastic. And this last thing that I will highlight is near and dear to my heart. because I'm a designer. I'm very heavy on visual content marketing. So a lot of the content that I produce is very visual, and most importantly, animated GIFs, or GIFs as it's supposed to be pronounced, are able to be uploaded into Sprout. Now, this is something I've tried with other social media management tools. None of them have support for animated GIFs yet. And your file upload size is also the biggest of them all at 10 megabytes. That's just phenomenal. The other ones don't even come close to that offering. And is there any specific reason? Was it an intentional choice to include animated GIFs, or was it just, you know, the developer on it just decided to do that, or was that an intentional kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean that's a great question, and I'm not really sure. Knowing our development team, they probably thought about it early on and decided that they wanted to do it. They always like hiding things in to make customers really happy, so I imagine that's one of the things they did.
Well, I'll tell you, that made me happy.
Well,
This guy was really happy when he found that out.
well, it's totally worth it then. And trust me, we use more GIFs in this office than a normal office should. So I imagine that's why they were doing it as well.
Yeah, and it's funny too, because until yesterday, the only platform that actually incorporated animated GIFs was Google+. Now Twitter also supports animated GIFs, so the fact that your developers included that support, to me, says that they probably like Google+, and that makes me like them all the more.
I mean, they're pretty smart guys, so I imagine they like Google+.
Yes, absolutely. So, you know, overall, you know, I've tested all these social media management tools, and there's a lot of great ones out there. There are some fantastic tools available on the marketplace. In my opinion, Sprout is the best for the normal user, for the agency, for the brand manager. It is one of the best. Now, the one thing that I will push you on, Josh, just a little bit. I was going to make a slide for this, but I didn't get to it in time. Is the price point. Sprout now, the lowest plan you guys have, correct me if I'm wrong, is $50 a month?
Yeah, $59.
$59 a month. So $60 a month for a base package. You get to manage up to 20 profiles. Are you able to speak in any articulate manner of why that price point, why you felt that was the biggest one out there, when there are competitors out there who are who have products for $9.99 a month? Now, given yours has a whole lot more features like animated GIFs, but you know, why did your team feel that $59.99 is the right price point for the moderate or the lower level package?
Yeah, and it's a great question. It's really been interesting as our application has evolved, as the social media space has evolved. Our pricing's really evolved with it. So if you were using Sprout about 3.5 years ago, we had a plan that went even all the way down to $9. And as we have evolved as an application, as our development has evolved, I mean, we really see social as an investment. And so as people are investing more time and money into it, we build great software that people love using. And so it really, leads that value, and people love love the application, and so that's what drives our pricing.
Yeah, and I completely understand. I was just I have two very dear friends, Stepan Hovnanian. Ah, man, I always butcher his name. He's gonna punch me in the face. Stepan is grandfathered into the $9 or $10 a month contract, and he likes to rub it in my face every chance he gets. And he is also a huge fan of Sprout as well. Also, my good friend Rebecca Radice, who is going to join us for this, she's a huge fan of Sprout. She's also grandfathered into that $9.99 account. So for all the, I'll speak for all the little guys out there, it would be great if you guys maybe brainstormed, came up with a lower level plan. But I will say this, the $59 a month plan for everything that you get is absolutely worth it. And I am, I manage several brands on Google+, not on Twitter. I'm primarily focused on Google+, but I would absolutely pay that for all my clients, and to get that level of reporting, management, and tools. We just need to work on being able to manage Google+ followers through the tool. But we'll bug Google about that, won't we?
Yeah, as soon as things open up, we're more than willing and ready to put them in the tool.
Awesome. Well, Josh, thank you so much for joining me today. Tell your team at Sprout that I give them a big thumbs up. I'm a big fan, and if you were to give us any call to action today, anything you're working on in the pipeline or anything you'd like our audience to do, what would you like us to do today?
Yeah, well, if you haven't tried Sprout before, we have a free 30-day trial where we're more than happy to let anyone try the application, see how great it is for themselves. So always go to sproutsocial.com and sign up for a trial. It's a great way to get started. We have an awesome sales team, too, that will help you. If you have any questions, they're product specialists like me. They know a lot about what we do, about our space. And so any thoughts that you want to bounce off of them or ideas, they're more than happy to talk to you that way. So I would definitely check that out. Also, reach out to us on Twitter, Google+, Facebook. Have conversations with us. We have really smart people who take care of a lot of really great things, and we're really excited to be into this space, and it's cool to see how much it changes and all of the cool things that we get to do. And so we're more than happy to share that with you, as much as we can.
And I will back that up. I reached out to Sprout a few weeks back, and I can't remember what it was that prompted me, but I knew I wanted to interview someone, and Sprout was the fastest response, and it was thus far the most helpful and most willing response to sit down with me and just talk about your product. And I really appreciate that. I appreciate you guys' effort. It does really show through the craftsmanship, the attention to detail, and the attention to relationships, and that's really important. So everybody go check out Sprout Social, give it a try, 7-day free trial. You have nothing to lose. And
30.
Again, Josh, thank you. What was it?
It's a free 30-day trial. You can use it for a whole month.
Oh, it's a 30-day trial. Well, alrighty then, 30-day free trial.
Yeah.
So thanks for that, Josh. Thanks for joining me. Everybody, this is Dustin from Dustn.tv signing off. We'll see you next time.